Welcome to another episode of the Zebra Influencer Series. I'm your host, Scott Reyes. And today we have a special guest. He comes to us from Pennsylvania. Our special guest is the VP of the SAP Global Partnership at Synactive. He has over 30 years of experience deploying SAP in the field, as well as working with Deloitte for SAP deployments. Let's welcome Tony Holland from Synactive to our call.
Hi, Scott. Good to see you.
Hey, Tony. Great to see you again as well. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Tony, as we're starting off the call, I'd love for you to share with the audience a little bit more about who are you and what you do at Synactive.
Well, I manage the partnership between Synactive and SAP and the ecosystems of partners that work with implementing SAP and reselling Zebra's hardware to help create outcomes for SAP's customers. Synactive is based in California. I'm here in Pennsylvania, right here, very close to Newtown Square, where SAP's headquarters are. And Synactive software is part of the core desktop UI of SAP. And we've created a mobile version of that desktop SAP GUI for Zebra hardware.
Excellent, Tony. Thank you so much for sharing that. And maybe you want to share with the audience a little bit about your background. And I think you had mentioned to me in a previous conversation that you're an adjunct professor. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm with Villanova University. I'm adjunct professor. I teach on technology and artificial intelligence in their School of Business. And across all the 6 colleges, I also help teach and cultivate diversity, equity, and inclusion conversations. So, teaching people about artificial intelligence, and then with SAP, which is an intelligent enterprise platform, helping SAP customers to bring that artificial intelligence functionality to mobile computers like Zebra by placing SAP inside those Zebra devices. And that's where Liquid UI fills a white space for SAP, because they've never created a desktop version of their SAP GUI for the Android operating system. So we brand the SAP UI as Liquid UI, and it's available on Google Store operating environments or the SAP Store operating environment, or through the network of Zebra resellers. They can just get the Zebra devices with SAP automatically already there, as if they were turning on any mobile computer and having a browser. But instead of turning on the computer with a browser, they're turning it on with the entire SAP GUI desktop already inside.
Excellent, Tony. So just so that I understand this, right? So it sounds like you bring the SAP transactions natively to Android. And is there a specific focus or vertical that you guys have at Synactive?
Well, SAP is horizontal. So SAP is in every industry. And so we are cross-industry. Wherever SAP goes, we go. Every SAP customer already has our legacy technology, which is called GUI XT, as part of their license. So any industry we can operate in. But the focus for us is really to help areas like warehouse, transportation, logistics, vertical industries like utilities, where blue-collar type workers are using rugged devices, either mobile devices, tablets, or working in warehouses where they need to track assets with Zebra's technology, like their RFID portals, or even moving things through warehouses with their fetch robots. To make all of that just turnkey, plug and play, Liquid UI focuses in on those industries. So we pretty much are focused in on the industries where Zebra and SAP create the greatest outcomes and value for SAP customers, like warehouses.
So thank you for that, Tony. So could you give us an example of a customer use case or customer success story where they've used this inactive technology?
Yeah, Scott, I can think right off the top of my head of a large global utilities company that is one of SAP's largest customers worldwide. And they came to Zebra actually with a request for help in their warehouse to be able to just print barcodes and be able to scan those barcodes so that they can track the goods movement within their warehouse. And the dilemma that they had was that their IT organization, in parallel to their need, was on this journey to migrate from their current ERP environment to the new S4 HANA environment. And as a result, IT had to put the business on hold and require that no changes be made to the back end. So they couldn't do any plugins, they couldn't build any custom type web applications, or they couldn't even use Telnet. So they needed to find a way to meet their business outcomes without disrupting or touching SAP. And so Zebra recommended Liquid UI, and it was the absolute, right answer for the problem, because they were able to put SAP, the desktop GUI, on the mobile device itself without IT getting involved, without touching the back end in any way. And because Liquid UI is part of the core front end of SAP, by just putting the SAP UI on the mobile device natively, not a web app, not Telnet, and not asking them to do some type of plugins, we were able to just allow them to very quickly in the warehouse, not bother IT, put a TC77 in the warehouse with Liquid UI on it. And then through Liquid UI, we were able to invoke barcode generation software from another ISV partner of Zebra's. And through just creating a very quick launchpad, we were able to say print barcodes without that third-party software even having any plugin to touch the back end. And they were able to generate the barcodes that they needed based on the template for those different departments. And mobily, they were able to then immediately just scan those barcodes that were being placed on bins and different types of assets that they needed to track the goods movement with. And they had little mobile printers on their belt so that they could just print out the barcode, initiate it directly from SAP on the mobile device, and then just go about their business of scanning the goods movement throughout their warehouse. And they never had to bother IT, and they were able to implement that in just a matter of 2 days. And so it was so successful that that organization is now replicating that in warehouses all over the world. So that's an example of why buying Zebra with SAP inside through Liquid UI has added value to a major global utilities company using SAP. And they were able to overcome the obstacles of having to disrupt anything that IT was trying to do, as they in parallel are trying to make their journey to the intelligent enterprise of S4HANA.
Excellent, Tony. Thank you for that. So what I understand here is that without touching the back-end system, so very at a high level right now, without touching the back-end system, you help this customer mobilize their SAP solution, integrated to printing and labeling, really through your application, and you help with the integration of another software vendor, and you've still allowed this customer to continue down their journey of moving to the S4 HANA Cloud Enterprise space, which I think is excellent. Which really leads me to ask the question of, is this a trend that you're seeing in the market?
In the SAP market, absolutely. And that's because there's a critical event taking place within the entire install base of SAP. And that is that they're on the journey to artificial intelligence. And SAP has created their own platform that allows their existing ERP customers to begin to have a new database model, which they call S4 HANA. So they have to all migrate away from their old traditional relational database models like Oracle to get onto a large learning model database, which is SAP's new S4 HANA database. And so that migration, they have just a few years to complete that migration. And so there's a lot of complexity in that discussion for IT because they have done a lot of customization and they have an existing environment. For brownfield type environments, that migration may take them a few years. But in order to do that, they've got to just put a freeze to any more customizations. So that creates a need for Liquid UI and Zebra so that they can just go ahead and buy Zebra tablets like this ET56 or buy a Zebra TC77. Or in another use case, I'm working with another major utility, the largest utility in the United States. And what they're trying to do is put RFID tags on the pallets that are going in and out of their warehouse onto trucks and be able to track that movement. In that case, they don't have an interface like this, but because Liquid UI is able to plug into the API of Zebra's RFID technology, we're able to also bring RFID tracking into SAP in real time and never, ever ask IT to get involved or have to do any plugins. And they were so happy that they were like, Tony, is there anything else you can do? Because the other trend that we're seeing is that we're having problems hiring Gen Z or the next generation to want to work in our warehouses. And we need to figure out a way to get robotics into our warehouses so that when those assets come in and you're tracking them, Tony, the way you've just helped us with scanning it by barcodes, or it's just coming in to the warehouse via a portal and the RFID tags are tracking it, that information is being put on fetch robots, and those robots are able to get directed through SAP to where those assets need to go. And SAP needs to know how that movement is taking place in real time. All of that we were able to do in a matter of days for that utilities organization in their warehouse and never bother IT.
Tony, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, as you're fully aware, and as most of our audience is fully aware, we're a very channel-centric organization. So our channel partners are in front of our customers all the time, talking to them about our new technologies and integrations and partners like yourselves. And what I think is interesting is in your solution, you're solving a couple of different challenges. One is a labor issue, making it more efficient for the resources that are currently within the customer, but also the IT resources, right? So IT has a lot of demand on them. So providing them a solution like yours where they can still migrate for that 1 to 5 year trend in SAP is really interesting. But from a channel partner perspective, how would one of our channel partners really work with you, or how are you working with our channel partners in this ecosystem? Can you explain to the audience what you're doing today with our channel ecosystem?
So, Scott, if it weren't for you, we would not be doing what we do because we don't sell direct. We are an independent software vendor as part of the Zebra ecosystem and you're my relationship manager. But the way we sell is we sell through the Zebra channel. So whether those are large system integrators that work with Zebra like Accenture or resellers of Zebra hardware, those resellers can come to me if they don't already have a relationship, and they can be the single point of contact for reselling Zebra hardware and Liquid UI. And we support those resellers so that they're able to sell that software bundled with Zebra hardware and also help the customer on these journeys of achieving the outcomes that they're looking for. And we have a small services team that also is on their team but not on their payroll so that they have that deep SAP expertise. And in a one t-shirt fashion, we listen to the customers together and help them to get the outcomes that they're looking for.
I love that, Tony. Thank you for explaining that, telling us a little bit about your one T-shirt scenario, right? You guys put on the same T-shirt in front of the customer, which is great. So if one of our channel partners wanted to reach out to you, how would they do that? Will they email you? Will they email the team? How will we get in touch with Tony?
So any partner that wants to get together with us and work in the fashion that I just described to be a reseller of Liquid UI and a implementer of outcomes for SAP and to land and expand, and also partner with the SAP account manager since we are part of SAP's core. I also support the territory account managers at SAP. So building those relationships and helping the partners to map to the account managers at SAP that own those accounts. They just need to contact me. So I am Tony Holland at GUIXT, and I can be reached by email. You can also go to Liquid UI website and contact us there, or just reach out to your local territory account manager and they too will be able to help map them to me. But please reach out to me. I'm here to support any partner to land, expand, and continue to create value for SAP customers.
Tony, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with the audience. And I love the fact that you talked about the one T-shirt scenario in front of the customer. And throughout this entire conversation, you mentioned outcome-based selling. And I think that's amazing. Really want to figure out what's the outcome the customer wants and how do we get them what they're looking for. So to the audience, thank you very much for paying attention, spending your time with us, and we'll see you next time.